All right, let me tell you about the wildest Halloween story you'll ever hear. It's known as the Great Halloween Scare of 1938. And no, it wasn't about a ghost or a goblin. It was about something far more terrifying: aliens. It all started on October 30th, the night before Halloween. People were at home, getting their costumes ready, carving pumpkins, the usual Halloween Eve stuff. Many of them were gathered around their radios, listening to their favorite evening programs. It was the golden age of radio, after all. That night, a popular music program was playing. But suddenly, the music was interrupted by a shocking news bulletin. The announcer's voice was tense, urgent. He reported that astronomers had observed several explosions on the planet Mars. At first, people probably thought, weird. They went back to listening to the music. But then another interruption. This one was even more dramatic. A reporter, live from a place called Grover's Mill, New Jersey, was describing a bizarre scene. A huge cylindrical metal object had crashed in a farmer's field. It was smoking, glowing. People were gathering. And then something emerged from the cylinder. The reporter's voice grew frantic, filled with genuine panic. He described a creature with tentacles, a thing that was firing a heat ray, incinerating everything in its path. You could hear screams, explosions, chaos in the background. The reporter's final words were cut off mid-sentence. Then silence. What would you do? You're sitting in your living room, it's the night before Halloween, and you just heard a live report of an alien invasion. Panic, absolute widespread panic. People flooded police stations and newspaper offices with calls. They packed their cars and fled their homes, clogging the highways. Some people said they could smell the poison gas the aliens were using. Others claimed they could see the glow of the fires from a distance. For a few terrifying hours, America believed it was under attack from Mars. But here's the twist: it was all a show. It was a radio play. The man behind it all was a 23-year-old genius named Orson Welles and his Mercury Theater on the air. They were performing a modern adaptation of H.G. Wells's classic novel, The War of the Worlds. They had designed it to sound like a real news broadcast to make it more exciting for Halloween. They had no idea it would work too well. The show did have disclaimers saying it was a dramatization, but many people tuned in late, missed the intro, and were thrown straight into the chaos. The next day, on Halloween, the headlines weren't about spooky ghosts. They were about the panic Welles had caused. He had to hold a press conference, looking shocked and apologetic, insisting he never intended to cause such a fright. So the Great Halloween Scare of 1938 wasn't caused by Martians, but by the power of storytelling, and it remains one of the most incredible and terrifying Halloween pranks of all time. It just goes to show, sometimes the scariest things are the ones we hear on the radio.